That introduction to the gift of tongues, such that I was receiving the tongue and the interpretation was mind-blowing to me. And I did it in quiet, in private, over time as it kept happening. I shared it with my wife. I shared it with Rex, a business partner, a good friend. And then pride filled me. I'm like, oh, cool. I can speak in tongues. And I wanted people to hear me. For years, when I was struggling through the spiritual emergence, reconnecting and aligning with my relationship with Christ, and collapsing the masks that I had held up for way too long, I had an experience where I would sit for hours. So I would journal for hours, and the pages were blank, no lines. So sometimes I'd draw pictures or there'd be words. And it was a real beautiful process for me to heal, because if I was struggling with something, I'd start writing. And oftentimes what would occur is if I resisted something, I would draw a square, and then I'd be with it, and I'd draw a heart around the square and just like open up and let whatever was there to surface. And so I'd breathe, and I'd feel, and I'd allow for the way that I saw something to soften. I just kind of let go. And it was sort of a sign that I felt God was showing me, like, okay, this is something that you need to release. And so that would happen occasionally. And sometimes I would draw pictures that had very distinct shapes. And it was just interesting. I couldn't tell you exactly what it meant, but I learned over time that if I were off, I would draw these elaborate little squiggly drawings. And if I were on, I would draw this perfect circle. It would just encircle, circle, 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 and tighten, tighten, tighten until it hit almost this point where it's like, that's it. The sweet spot, the centered, connected relationship with Christ in the way that I knew it. And in fact, if you look at the O Coalition, and I hope to interview Jody at some point, because he did a phenomenal job with the brand, but the O Coalition has the O in the middle, and that's the representation of the wholeness of the Christ, of that pure essence of who we're called to live as. And so if I were on target, that would happen. And when I coach people, that happens too. If I'm coaching and someone's off, I'll kind of get this sense of, oh, they're off, because I've learned how to discern that energy frequency. When is someone on? When is someone off? And thank you, God, for teaching me that, because it was a really beautiful, extraordinary gift I'm so thankful for. So one day, as I'm doing that, I'm speaking as well, and these words come out, and it sounds like weird stuff. Now, I have Catholic roots, and we never do tongues things. And so I didn't have a relationship with it, but that was now what I would say it is. It was tongues, but I was resisting it. I was fighting it. And so I'm drawing the off-target drawing as I'm resisting it. I'm like, okay, all right, God, I release, I allow. And suddenly these words come out, and it goes for a period of time, right? And maybe it was 40 seconds, maybe it was a minute, I don't know. And then after, this brilliance comes out, and it was wisdom that I hadn't connected with before. It was just so interesting. That introduction to the gift of tongues, such that I was receiving the tongue and the interpretation was mind-blowing to me. And I did it in quiet, in private, over time as it kept happening. I shared it with my wife. I shared it with Rex, my business partner, a good friend. And then pride filled me. I'm like, oh, cool. I can speak in tongues. And I wanted people to hear me. And that was off, by the way. And Rex called me on it one day, and he's like pointing out that fact, and he was right. And so I hid it again. Like, you know what? I don't want to feel pride. I released that. And so I hid it and buried it, and then I associated it with pride. Well, that's off too. So when I started this podcast, one of the things that I have been experiencing is more of that, more speaking in tongues. And I even had the mindset of, there's no way I'm going to do that on camera. and in fact, Aaron here, I'm like, hey, if I do that, just know that that can happen and cut it out. But I'm not sure that that's the right thing to do either. So I am on a journey as well. Like, there's no one that's a finished product. We're always evolving and developing. And so I'm surrendering, right? And I cancel, and this is the work, by the way. I'm canceling my goal to hide it. And I allow for it to be in this space, in this sacred O Coalition space, if that's God's will. And I accept that that is something that he taught me as I started to heal. And I'm thankful. It's helped me in extraordinary ways. It's developed into something that will be a walk of delight. If I'm out exercising and speaking with God and the tongues come out, it's like, okay, I'll just go with this. And there's an anticipation almost like, oh, there's something that's going to be revealed to me. And it's really special. And it is sacred. And it is not what it had been when it was prideful. It is more holy and pure. And so if you hear me doing that and you're like, well, what is that? It's one of the probably 3 or 4 ways that God revealed himself to me on my healing journey. So follow the channel, subscribe, check out some of the links below so that you can tune in to the live radio show, so you can start reading The Lowly Prophet. And pretty soon, I'm going to post another story, that deeper story of how my son helped me. Bless you.